lifestyle is not just for athletes and bodybuilders. Everyone can benefit from a few simple healthy changes and some guidance. Today we have Ty Jensen with us to share some of his knowledge on how to begin your own fitness journey. Welcome to Celebrate Michigan, the show produced on the campus of Madonna University. And I'm Chris Benson. We are here today with Ty Jensen, as I mentioned, and we're really excited to have him talk about some tips. At this time of year, we can all use some tips, right? So Ty, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
So how did you get involved in fitness? Is this something that was always an interest of yours? Like when you were a baby, were you like, lifting weights and that kind of thing?
Yes.
Wow.
So I was always very athletic, and sports were a huge part of my life. And so I wanted to be really good at them. And once I realized that I had to keep practicing and getting better, I learned that lifting was going to help me achieve my potential. And so once I went to college, I played college football, I felt like I never got to reach my potential, and I started asking myself why. And one of the reasons that I found was because of my training system. It wasn't optimized specifically for me. I was doing more general work, and so now I found a training system that I can tailor to individual people and give them what they need to maximize themselves.
I heard you say a really key word in there, and I wonder if you can dispel a myth. You said the word practicing. So I think that people either think they can be naturally athletic or not. What would you say about that?
I think that some people, the way that I look at the human body, some people are predispositioned to having fast twitch muscle fibers, which help with power output. Some people have slow twitch muscle fibers, which are more endurance based. However, in their given sport, different mixes of muscle fibers are going to aid or hinder them. But depending on how you peak someone for their sport, you can see the gap being reduced.
So what I heard you say, because you obviously understand this at a very technical level, I can tell, like you are into material. So if I'm like the average person and I'm sitting on the couch and I'm like, I want to run a marathon or I want to pole vault, is it possible for me to do it based on what you were just saying?
Yes.
Okay, the good answer. Right?
Yes,
it's a good answer.
Definitely. You just need the right preparation time is all. So you need to train your body to handle these forces of whatever you're going to do, whether that be running or pole vaulting, and address your weaknesses. So for sure you can do that.
I love that you explain that, because I think a lot of people look at, maybe they look at gyms or they look at people who are very fit and they're like, oh, I just don't know if I can do that. Like I wasn't a college athlete, for example. I wasn't even a high school athlete. Is it possible for me to do those kind of things? And what I heard you say is, yeah, it takes practice. And it sounds like you also talked about having a personalized experience that, you mentioned in high school, you realized I was getting this like one way of doing things and it didn't really work for me.
Correct. Yeah, so taking an individualized, tailor approach is the way to go. When I look at a regular person, the first thing I look at is what do they do on a daily basis? What is their job? So what I tend to see a lot of times is that their shoulders are anteriorly rotated or they're put in a forward position. Well, it's going to be hard to put more, to have the neural drive because the nerve root is going to get pinched. So I take that tailored approach and I'm like, this person needs more back work in order to get their scapulas in more of a neutral position.
When you said that, I automatically was like, I need to sit up straighter, I need to like pull up. So I hear you saying that a lot of it is form too. Like people don't understand the right form. They don't understand that they're standing the wrong way when they do things. This might explain why when I buy this like contraption off TV that's like the ab doer or whatever it's supposed to be, like I wind up hurting myself because I'm probably not doing it right.
Correct. And having a great set of eyes on you while you're going through your workouts is one of the most beneficial things that you can have. Of someone who knows the technical knowledge and then can help you through the whole process, whether that be form or even tempo. So the rate at which you control the weight is also very important.
So it sounds like we can all use some help, and that's where you come in, right? So I heard you talking about your own fitness journey and learning more about yourself. What makes you want to help others as well?
That's a great question. So because I went through those experiences, I never wanted someone to have to go through that. I feel like everyone should at least have the ability to reach their potential, and whatever that is, they can have the satisfaction in life. And so now my goal is kind of changed now to I want others to have that satisfaction of being able to go as far as their body can take them.
So as a personal trainer now, what does that entail for you?
Part of what I do is work with normal people, and whether that be body comp or getting their body not broken. A lot of people come in and they can have herniated discs, and so this is something that we need to address before they can even start lifting properly. The other half of what I do is sports performance. So I deal with a great number of athletes in a bunch of different disciplines, and I'm trying to get them to the top of their respective game.
So I could be a college athlete who's trying to get better, or I could be the average person who's like, I ran a decent marathon for my age group, but I want to run a Boston qualifier. Is that something that you can help people with?
Yes, and even the person who gets up and they keep having this nagging knee pain that's been going on for a while, or their low back hurts, or every time they try to lift overhead, their shoulder has pain, all of these demographics are people that I work with.
And I hear that as we get older, that it's very important to do weight-bearing exercises. Would you agree?
I agree.
Okay. Why?
And that's very important because your spine, well, specifically your bones. So if you're not actually putting tension on the bones, they're not growing. They're slowly, over time, they're going to get more brittle. So if we can stimulate that, we're actually going to get more bone growth, and you're going to see more benefit.
Okay, so you've given me a lot to think about, and I think you've given our viewers a lot to think about, and I'm very excited. I know in our next segment we're going to have some video showing us like these exercises, demonstrating them, but it sounds like you can go from somebody who doesn't have a lot of experience to really perfecting and honing in someone who has experience.
That is correct.
Okay, that's a good range. Well, we do have to take a break. It's just going to take us a second. We'll be right back. I'm going to talk more with Ty about his current progress in the world of personal training. Stay tuned and we'll see you soon.
You realize that 49 million Americans struggle with hunger? That's 1 out of every 6 Americans.
These people are around us every day. They're our friends, they're our coworkers, their kids go to school with our kids.
Sometimes we're not even aware that they're struggling. This problem is closer than you think. So is the solution.
Play a role in ending hunger. Visit feedingamerica.org/hunger and find your local food bank.
Yes, ready, ready.
Oh, come on, Randy. Animal shelter, here I come. And no, I'm not crazy or emotionally damaged. That's a stereotype. I just belong to a total loser. I'm a good dog. So if you want a pet, adopt. And if you see Randy, tell him he dropped his wallet.
Sounds like you could use some Van Gogurt. It's fortified with arch-rich nutrients to improve your math and reading skills. Catch!
Van Gogurt, thanks. So what's the deal with your ear?
Always with the ear, huh?
Feed your kids the arts. For 10 simple ways to learn how, visit AmericansForTheArts.org.
I present to you Algebra 2, Foreign Languages, and finally, Biology. Who among you will step up to their challenge?
Me.
Me too. Sign me up.
Take on the tough classes now. You need them to prepare for college.
Welcome back to Celebrate Michigan. I'm Chris Benson, and today I'm here with Ty Jensen to discuss his current progress in his own fitness journey and leading the progress of others in their fitness journey. COVID. We have to talk a bit about COVID, pandemic. How did that affect what you do and the work of personal trainers overall?
Well, unfortunately, it kind of shut down the industry for, I would say, 6 months to a year. But now that everything's back up and open, we see, I would say, a surge of people coming in because they realize that COVID wasn't the best thing for them, and so they're trying to shed those pounds.
Yeah, I've heard like the COVID 15, you know, kind of like the freshman 15. Is that what you're hearing people say? Is that, you know, is there an average that people have gained, or are people saying like, gosh, I got out, but I just went for a short walk, or I didn't do anything? What are you hearing?
I heard that the average American put on 30 pounds during COVID.
Oh, I believe it.
Yes.
I believe
so
it.
that to me is a lot. But the most that anyone could really do, unless they had a home gym set up, was go on a walk or go on a run.
And I think you mentioned home gyms, and I think that's interesting because I think there's a lot of equipment that I saw being advertised during COVID, like, you know, things you can buy, put in your house, do on your own, videos, that kind of thing. What are the advantages to that, and then what do you think are the disadvantages to that over like personal training?
I would say the first disadvantage is that it would be used as a glorified coat rack.
And perhaps it is in my house, I'm just saying.
Yes, we all know that one person that has an elliptical and it just kind of sits in the corner and it hangs on coats. COVID, though, was one of the times to where that could be very beneficial, or any home gym setup was beneficial. I believe weights were worth their weight in almost gold because no one could find them and no one had them. So a big advantage is that any time of the day you have the ability to work out. Another disadvantage, though, is, are you committed to doing that? Mm-hmm. So when you go to a gym or have a personal trainer, you have that commitment that you have to lock into. You know that someone is there and they're expecting you to show up at a certain time. So that commitment is something that you have to either get from yourself, or you're going to have to see someone for that.
And I know that if I don't show up at Monday at noon, Ty is going to be like, she quit. Where's she at?
Sending you a text message.
Okay, see, so there's motivation.
Yes.
So that definitely sounds like an advantage of working with someone. What about someone who's intimidated about going to the gym, though?
Well, the one thing that I like about what we do is everything's one-on-one. So you're not in a public gym setting to where there's a lot of people doing a lot of things around you. It's just you and your personal trainer. So you guys have this whole facility to yourself and you're working out with each other.
Okay, so that makes me feel a little more comfortable, perhaps, if I'm someone who's maybe nervous about that and want to stay in the house, you know, and not do that. I would imagine form, too, because like you said, you know, again, I want to sit up straight because you were talking about, you know, putting your shoulders back, that kind of thing. I imagine if I'm buying equipment and doing it in my house, I could be hurting myself, too.
Definitely. There's a large potential for that, especially if you're trying to do big compound lifts and you just started lifting. There's a great stress that you're going to be putting upon your body, and if it's not prepared for that, you could easily hurt yourself and then be out of commission for the next 6 weeks.
And so with personal training, how often, let's say I meet with you or meet with a personal trainer, and then is it something where I have to do that forever, or could I learn some techniques and then maybe go home and do some work on my own as well?
I think that the best personal trainer will work themselves out of a job because you should be teaching while you go. So people should be understanding why, and there should be a why to everything that you do. You should be able to explain exactly why you chose this exercise, why you chose the tempo and the rep range. So yes, it is temporarily, and typically I'll see someone for 12 weeks and they'll come in 4 times a week for just an hour session.
And I heard you mention reps, you know, and there's like weight. So then there's always this controversy, right? Should I do more reps with less weight or less reps with more weight?
Well, that is a great question. So what I use is a system called Russian block undulating periodization. And what that means...
Please break it down. Thank you.
I use different rep brackets throughout your journey, your program. So your first phase might be 10 to 12 reps, but your next phase might be 6 to 8. So you're actually going to reap the benefits of both of those throughout our program.
Oh, so I see. It's like varying. Okay,
yes.
So my body never quite knows what to expect.
Exactly.
And what does that, like, how does that make me better?
So when you're in the higher rep ranges, what you're going to stimulate is a growth hormone response in the body, to where if you're at a lower rep range, the stimulus now is testosterone. So we switch back and forth between what we're trying to stimulate in the body, and we see incredible growth from it.
And you explained very well, all the things that are happening that maybe people don't normally understand. Do you find that when you explain that to your clients that helps them appreciate what they're doing?
Yes. Yes, they enjoy it a lot, and I enjoy talking as well. But it's nice to know that someone who's there with you the whole time, they know what they're doing and they can explain it. So it'd be like going to get your car changed, and then you ask the mechanic, well, what are you doing? And he looks at you and said, I don't know. You want a solid answer for what are you going to do to my car? So that's essentially what I'm providing.
And how did you learn all of this? What did you do to train for all this?
My college was pretty difficult, but in a great way. So I got a degree in athletic training. So I got a bachelor's of science at Alma College. Go Scots.
Great school.
Thank you. After that, I then worked as a personal trainer, and then I found a couple articles about Charles Poliquin, and I started learning about his methodology, and then I started tailoring it to myself of what I think works and what I think doesn't work, and then I found this great sweet spot of what I would say my style of programming, and it seems to work pretty well.
And how do your clients feel about it?
Oh, they love it. They absolutely love it.
And I imagine that they show success as well.
Yes, we've had some great results so far.
And I really love that you're kind of explaining your own journey, coming from something where you were focused on yourself and kind of figuring out what went right, what didn't, and then translated that to helping others.
Yes. I would say it's almost a little bit selfish because now I want to be known as good, but the people that I'm able to help throughout this journey is incredible. So I have so many people and athletes in just different categories. So some Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu athletes, some play professionally in the NFL, some were trying to get into the NFL, all the way down to a high school kid getting that scholarship. When you guys get to celebrate that, that's such a team win for everyone.
Oh, yeah. Well, we have to take another break, but you won't want to miss the rest of the show. We're going to be right back talking to Ty about his future business plans. Stay tuned.
In the event of a car crash, 3 out of 4 kids are not as secure as they should be because their car seats are not used correctly. But the latch system makes it easier to get it right and to hold your kids tight. Anchor, tether, latch. Learn more at safercar.gov.
I want to see the world.
When you pick up a book,
I used to read every night to all the younger kids,
and let your imagination break free, you won't believe how much fun it can be.
Let down your house!
Experience a world of adventure, excitement, and endless possibilities. Get tangled up in a good book. Explore new worlds. Read. Visit read.gov today.
Nice.
Yes, go! Yes!
No. Oops.
Yeah, sure.
Let's go.
Moms everywhere are finding ways to keep kids active and healthy.
Works every time.
Get ideas, get involved, get going at letsmove.gov.
Welcome back to Celebrate Michigan. I'm Chris Benson, and we're back with Ty, talking about personal training. And what's the future look like for you? What plans do you have?
Well, I'm hoping to open my own business soon.
Nice, nice. How soon? And any particular area that you're thinking of?
Within the next 6 months,
Okay.
and hopefully in Southeast Michigan.
Okay. So you're from this area, tied to this area?
No, but this is where all my connections are.
Okay.
I'm originally from the north.
That makes sense. Okay. Well, I know we have some video that we're going to be taking a look at now, and I'm going to ask you to talk us through. I think we have some exercises that you're going to explain. So
Yes.
if people haven't been convinced yet that they should do this, this is what we're going to see now, is some examples of exercises that people are doing. Okay, so what's happening here?
So this is a trap bar deadlift with a 3-second concentric pause. So what that is a guy prepping for the NFL.
Holy
and
cow.
so we need to get him strong. The second one was a clean pull extension. And what that is he is developing power at a fast rate. And then the last one is an athlete with incredible flexibility.
Oh my gosh. So the folks that came and did these, the videos that you're seeing, these are people you worked with like for how long? Like how long does it take someone to get to that level?
12 weeks usually.
Okay, okay. And it looks like they were very carefully controlled, good form, again, doing what needs to be done, right?
Yes,
Okay.
so that's why I have those videos, because they're sending it to me so I can come back and critique them.
And I think you're going to show us some results now. I understand these are the favorites, right? Before and after. So we're going to show some pictures of what people look like at the start and then what you were able to accomplish with them. So we'll take a look. Okay, so wow. All right. Tell me what, I mean, I can see the results, but tell me about this.
Yes, so this was a guy, he was actually a long distance runner and he's out of season, and he told me that he wanted to get jacked. That was his exact words. And so as you can see on the left, he started in a pretty good shape, but what we did was just add muscle. So if you look at his upper back, his shoulders and pecs, even his arms, everything just blew up. He ended up putting somewhere around 15 pounds of muscle on.
Wow. A lot of definition, I see.
Yes, it was a lot of hard work.
And another example here, look at these great results.
Yes, so this guy had actually never worked out before, and he wanted to start. He said that he wanted to lose weight was his goal. So this was actually 6 weeks, and he lost, I think he started at 215, and now he sits at about 190.
Wow. So these are great results. They kind of speak for themselves, right?
Yes,
Right?
I'd like to think so.
So as you're looking at the future of personal training, what do you think it looks like? How do you think things will be different?
I would like to advocate for more education.
Okay.
I would like to see everyone have a deep grasp and understanding of why they're doing things, and what that's going to do is it's going to give better results to the clients. So that way less people are getting hurt in the gym and we're seeing better results. I would love to see that be the standard of results that people see when they train with the personal trainer.
So when you talk about education, what does that look like? Do you see like more interaction with the trainer in person? Is it virtual? Is it both? How does that education come to people, do you think?
I think that should be with the personal trainer themselves, and I would like to see better certifications out there. The ones that I've seen and I've taken, yes, it's to get a foot in the door, but I would like to see a higher level certification that really grasps all these concepts and how to get these results in a fast time period.
And what would you say to the person out there who's like watching the show right now and they're like, I've been saying I'm going to do this for a long time. What would you say to them?
The hardest lift is the one off the couch.
Oh, that's great. So if they're on the couch, how can they find you? If they're on the couch and they're like, okay, I'm about to get off the couch, but how do I get in touch with this Ty Jensen?
The best way would probably be to reach out on me on Instagram. My handle is Ty Jensen 14. You can see all of my results there as well, and you can just send me a message.
Okay. And I know you mentioned Facebook too, that it's there
Yes.
too. So if I'm in a demographic that likes that that modality, I can find you there, right?
You can find me on Facebook, Ty
Right.
Jensen.
And when you think about personal training, what is something you'd really like to change about the field? Like, you know, I mean, you're among other professionals, and it's a culture and everything. Is there something that you think, we need to change this?
Yes. specifically with the way that I see a couple gyms being ran, I would really like to advocate for personal trainers to better wages and better work conditions. Long hours and a lot of burnout is very common in this industry, and I'd like to see that change.
What causes the burnout, do you think?
The long hours, for sure. If you work 14-hour days, you'll understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, so long hours, and you have to imagine being one-on-one with a client, and it's 14 different clients, you got to give them your all. So just better working hours and then better pay to compensate that as well.
And how do you manage that energy? Because I imagine there's people who want to, I don't know, are there people who want to give up that you're working with, or that you just feel drain you, or that, you know, aren't showing up consistently? How do you maintain your positive spirit and all that to continue to motivate them?
I'd like to kind of think like I'm an Energizer bunny. And so everyone that comes along and brings along, we tend to resonate in a good way, and we just motivate each other. So even if that's a client, he's excited to work out, I'm excited to work out, or if it's an employee, we're excited to be in the same building together and building something big.
So what was that thing you said again about the biggest lift?
The hardest lift is the one off the couch.
Okay, so I'm going to definitely end it with that. I love that. I love your spirit, Ty, and it really sounds like you've figured out how to make this very personal for your clients. So thank you so much for being on the show today.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
Well, and thank you for watching. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have. We are so glad you could connect with Ty today, and we are very glad that you're thinking about taking up your own fitness journey. I hope you're inspired by this. Thanks for joining us on Celebrate Michigan. We celebrate all the great things happening in this state, and we'll see you next time. Take care.